Right, welcome back. We're starting to wrap things up here in Sandton as we've been talking about the mining sector, the way forward, some of the challenges we're facing, and some of the successes, I guess, that we've been able to put into play ahead of the big mining endeavor where the world community will be looking on mining in Africa for a week. So that's all coming up next week. But let's get some final questions from the floor here, starting with Angelo. I think you're on table 16, Angelo.
Good morning, Minister. I'm going to read my question so there's no confusion. I'm a journalist with CCTV. In the interest of factual correctness, can you please confirm whether you or any of your consultants have been involved in any way in any actual negotiations with mining houses for the disposal and or purchase of assets? You've made a comment on Optimum, which I'm quite comfortable with. I'm wondering about involvement in Lonmin with the job losses that were announced yesterday, and Anglo. These are the big players here. I'm looking for specifics here because it avoids confusion in our minds so that we can report accurately. Thank you.
Okay, Angelo, thank you very much indeed. William Mabapa, table number 14.
Highly concerned about the retrenchment, Minister. Let us raise it clear that since the discussions between business labor, we really don't see any improvement. In essence, the situation is becoming worse. I can record that we are getting Section 189 every day. If we are lucky, it's one. If we are unlucky, we get 3 or 5 per day. And that is alarming because when we even go to the consultations, you will see that these mining houses, they are not even prepared to follow the agreed 10-point plans to keep the jobs. And as NUM, we want to put to your attention that, yes, we had time, we had a delegation to come, be there, have lunch, and others sign a document. And to us, that is the end. There is no commitment. And if you think we are joking, let us have a bilateral. We will show you what is there. But let us also unpack some issues. I think the manner in which we are handling consultation is becoming difficult because it is clear that it is a consultation with a purpose just to tick the boxes. That I've submitted a Section 189. The law is saying that 30 days if there is no facilitation. If there is facilitation, 60 days. With agreement, no agreement, we are retrenching. And that is what they're doing. Whenever you can put issues, sometimes we put issues that compromises us as a trade union, begging the employer to say, we do understand, can we consider issues of short shifts, which will eventually lead to a reduction of salaries to our members that is even minimal at this stage. But considering all those issues, that is non-considerable from the employers because theirs is a decision about Section 189, theirs is a decision about retrenchment. And we are highly worried that unless the Department of Minerals, the Department of Labor, and the CCMA itself come to a situation where they assist the situation not to tick the boxes, but try to facilitate this retrenchment in a manner that when there are reasonable proposals from stakeholders, they are considered. Right. Our last issue is that...
If you could be very brief, because we're running out of time, I promise you.
Yes. Our last issue is the issue that in most cases when these retrenchments comes, majority of the people who are retrenched are the lower bands, the A and B and the C benders to some extent. But there is no much involvement or there is no much of the retrenchment in terms of the higher categories, your D benders and your E benders, who are earning a lot of money. And that is something that is not considered. And we are highly worried on that.
All right, okay. Lee McMaster, table number 5, if you could ask your question in 20 seconds, that would be very helpful. Because Mr. Mabapa stole half your time.
Good day, Minister Lee McMaster from Solidarity. In 2014, the combined SED spending by the major platinum miners were about 250 million rand for that year. But we still haven't seen mechanisms through SRPs in the mining charter to ensure that we've got more collaboration and more sustainability in those community developments and SED projects. How do we go about in trying to fix those mechanisms in legislation?
Okay, great. We're starting to wrap up, so please, as you start to wrap up, incorporate what you've been asked, the questions that's been put through to you, and just give us your final thoughts. Let me start with you, Minister.
Let me put it on record that we have met with companies that are signaling retrenchments. My team is continuing to meet with them. We have met with the CEO of Anglo, Marco. We have met with others. However, we are worried about how some companies go about in announcing retrenchments when we are not consulted. We are taking that matter up because job losses and retrenchment is a very sensitive issue that can lead into safety when miners hear that they are being retrenched and they are below the shaft. I think that is irresponsible.
All right, I'm going to hurry you along a little bit because of time. Lonmin, Anglo, and your involvement?
We are engaging with them. I'm not involved personally or any consultant in terms of any deal with Lonmin or any other person. We are engaging at the level of government and stakeholders. We are taking seriously the concerns of NU. Our doors are open to ensure that we tighten the loose ends. On the issue of the SLPs, I've sat down with my team. I'm not happy with some particular aspects, including those mechanisms. We are finding a way of ensuring that we have more impact when it comes to our SLPs. We will share our views with the stakeholders moving forward so that as we move to the future, we are a collective. Let me say to the people of South Africa, this is not a time for perceptions. Let's take hands. We agree that the period we are in, it's a period that needs cool head, proper leadership. I'm sure there is a light at the end of the tunnel. The issue of commodity prices is an issue that normally happens from time to time. We shall recover. Our economy will recover, but we need to be responsible and deal with the issues that are facing us currently in a responsible way without blaming each other.
Okay. And that's where we're going to have to leave it, unfortunately, gents. Thank you very much for joining us and being part of this panel and leading our conversation. And to you at home, thank you so much for being part of this conversation. We'll see you next week. State of the Nation address. We'll have President Jacob Zuma live on this program. You can put your questions directly to him. So start writing your questions. Have a great day, everybody. Have a great weekend.